So, see, there are three different types of sampling. Okay, one is known as probability sampling. The second criteria is known as non-probability sampling, and the third one is known as mixed sampling. Okay, so sampling basically, देखिए कोई in order to do a research study, we need to collect the sample from a population. So population is the larger context from where we are drawing our sample. Okay. So for when we draw a sample, there are different ways of drawing a sample. So it can be dependent broadly on three different types of categories. One is a probability sampling, second is a non-probability sampling, and third is a mixed sampling. So now let us understand what is a probability sampling. The other name for probability sampling is it is also known as random sampling. Okay. Like for example, like I told you in the last class, suppose your mother has asked you to go to a shop and bring rice. Now, what is the guarantee? You go into the rice shop and asked him कि भैया जरा चावल दे दो. So he said, okay, on the right hand side, there is a big bori, there is a, okay, whole big box of rice. You collect it from there. So you can take the rice from the top, or what you did, you put the hand from inside and took a sample. So either you can take it from the right side, from the left side, from the southern side of the basket, or from the northern side of the basket, depending on, you can collect it from. So everywhere the sample should be a true representation of the population. That means from wherever you are collecting the rice, it should be the same rice what you are seeing on the top, again at the bottom, at the basement. Okay, so that means when we draw population like this and you collect it from any part, that is known as random sampling. So probability sample is one where the selection of the units from a population is made according to the known probabilities. So whatever it is known, you can do it randomly from any part. Okay. You can go to any. So that means each and every, what does this mean? It means each and every subject in that population has a chance to get selected. So you can take sample from any place, okay, from any part without any prejudice or without any type of biasness. So that is known as a probability sampling. Is it clear to everyone? Any doubt what is the probability sampling?
Uh, Please explain this probability to the sample. I was about to ask this chart.
I could not get your question. What?
I just want to understand the detail about the proportion to the sample size.
Proportion to the sample size. Now see, like suppose you are taking, suppose I'm taking, I told, okay, just a minute. Suppose I'm saying, okay. Now suppose I'm saying, this is like, suppose I go to, this is one block from where we have to collect the sample. Okay. Now I'll take another example. Say I went to a hospital. The hospital has got 1,000 employees, 1,000 employees, and that employees have got 100 nurse. You have got 500, sorry, 100 doctors, 500 nurse, 200 paramedics, 50 physios, and that and 50 physios. So this is 100 plus 500, 600, 700, say 600, 800, 850, and 150 hospital staff. So you have total 1000. Now out of this, I want to draw a sample of 100 people. 100 people. Now I want to draw in such a manner so that the sample which I am collecting should be a true representation of. I cannot take all the 100 doctors, because if I am taking 100 doctors from the same, what is going to happen? There is non-representation of the other groups. I cannot also take 50 doctors, because if I take 50 doctors again out of 100, that means 50%. So if I take 100 out of 1000, so how much? It is only just 10%. So 10% has to be representation from the doctors. If I'm taking 500 nurses, so that means 50 nurses I can take, so that it is a true representation of the population. Is it clear? Is it
Yes,
clear?
sir. Sir, is there any standard formula for selection of this percentage?
No, the selection formula will come to that part. Okay, see where there's any formula and how it is being done. So what the method which I have just explained it to you, it is a part of your means it is part of your probability sampling. Okay, so because we take systematic sampling, so I will explain this part. What you need to understand right now is a probability sample is one where the selection of the units from the population is made according to various probabilities. Like for example, if I have to draw a sample, if I have to draw a sample, one probability could be like suppose if there's this 100 people, suppose I have to draw 100. So I said there's one probability that I take 10% of the population. Now this 10% could be because I've got 100 doctors, so could be every first doctor I am taking in each group. So first, 11th, 21st, 31st, 41st. Okay, this is one probability. The other probability, I am taking every fifth doctor from the team. So fifth, 15th, 25th, 35th doctor, or I'm taking every second doctor. So I can make it into different type of probabilities. So randomly I'm choosing, or I can choose like, okay, first, so I am choosing after take 10 doctors from the population. So I would say, okay, first, 7th, 31st, 42nd, 55th, 72nd, 88th. So randomly I can choose anyone. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So likewise, we can choose our so this is basically a probability sampling. So other name of probability sampling, it is also known as random sampling. Okay. So we can do like this. Then so, and the second one is non-probability sampling. So, non-probability sampling is the one where discretion is used to select. So, there I can use my discretion. Like if I know somebody, I can use some favorisms. I can basically do according to my convenience. So, this is all a part of non-probability. So, I told you that three types of sampling: probability, non-probability, and mixed sampling. So, non-probability sampling is the one where discretion is used to select the representative units from a population to infer a sample which is a representative of the population. So that means even I am using my discretion, even if I am using my convenience, if I am using my judgment, still it should be a representative of the population. So the method is called judgment or purposive. So this is also known as judgment or purposive sampling because purposively or judgmentally I am doing it, and this is mainly used for the opinions. So whenever we are taking some surveys or opinions there, this can be used. So a type of judgment sample used in surveys is the quota sampling. This method is not used in general because of the prejudice. So usually if I am taking means data or using my own people whom I know, so that may not be giving me an exact copy of the true events which is happening over there. So however, if the so, for example, in the market research survey of the performance of the new car, the sample was all new car purchasers. So, if they are all new car purchasers, obviously they will say their car is good. So, but you don't have any old car purchaser, therefore you might not be a true representative of the population which I am talking about. So, and the third one is known as mixed sampling. So here the sample is selected partly with the probability sampling and partly from the non-probability sampling. That is mixed sampling, or basically we are using the sample using the both the methods. So that is a mixed sampling, that is known as mixed samples, and the technique for selecting such sample is known as mixed sampling. Then, what are the methods of selecting of samples? Like I told you, when we talk about the probability sampling can be further divided into simple random sampling, stratified random sampling, and systematic random sampling. So now let us understand what is the simple random sampling, stratified and systematic random sampling. So simple random sampling, a simple random sample from a finite population is a sample selected such that each possible sample combination has an equal probability of being chosen. That means when we talk about the simple random sampling, each and every component of that group has a strong chance of getting being selected. That's why it is also known as unrestricted random sampling, because it is unrestricted. You can randomly choose anyone. So all the methods of sampling, this procedure is most commonly used in the it is most commonly used in stratified sampling. So this technique is mainly used to reduce the heterogeneity and to increase the efficiency of the estimate. So we get almost like-minded type of things. That means we want to reduce the heterogeneity in the study population, and also it tells us about the we can divide them into various groups, and from there we can basically collect our samples, which is an again an easier method. So this is known as stratified random sampling. So, like I told you, if I have to collect a sample from a hospital which has got 1,000 employees, and I have to draw my 100 patients, so depending on how much each strata is representing their percentage in the population, so I can choose people from there in the same. Okay, so that's why you can see over here there are a sample of female who are wearing the culture Indian dress. Then there are female which are wearing the business dress, and then there are female who are wearing a casual. Okay, and similarly, male, you can take people who are wearing traditional simple pant and shirt, and then you are wearing coat. So like this, we can basically draw our samples from the same. So in this method, the population, so what is stratified sampling? So here what we can do, we can divide the population into a subgroups or strata. Like for example, in the hospital, I was telling you, in the hospital, we have divided into nurses, doctors, paramedic staff, insurance workers, and then accordingly it is easy also. And it is also basically we can choose the person from each strata, so that you have got full representation from each and every strata of the population. Okay, so these are combined together to form a required sample from the population. Is it clear? Any doubts still here? Anything which is not clear? Yes, Yumnam, Renu Singh, Priyadarshini, Premi, Haris, Priyobala.
Yes, yes,
All
sir. Clear.
all clear? Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, all clear.
Okay. So now let us understand regarding different types of stratified sampling. So first, I told you you need to remember there are three types of sampling. We have got probability sampling, non-probability sampling, and mixed sampling. Probability sampling can be further divided into random sampling, then stratified sampling, and systematic sampling. Stratified sampling has got a strata, and here in stratified sampling, we can be dividing into a proportional and non-proportional sampling. So in the proportional sampling, each equal and proportionate representation is given to the subgroups or the strata. Okay. Like for example, I will give you another example. Now, see, in India is a composition of 140 crore population. So India will have a different type of population in terms of, you can classify them in terms of religion, like Hindus, Muslims, Christians, okay, Sikh, Buddhist, Parsis. Then you can also divide them in terms of their economy. Like for example, there are uber rich people, there is uber rich people, there is middle class. In middle class you have got upper middle class, middle class, and lower middle class. Then you have got poor people. Then you can divide them in terms of caste, creed, okay, in terms of different region, language, culture. So see, there could be so many divisions. But who are being represented in the parliament should be a true representation of the population. That means whatever is the population of India, they should be actually representative from different parts of the country to represent a true population. So then only in that terms it will be called as the actual face of the democracy, when each and every representative, depending on their numbers, are being represented well in the parliament. Similarly, like I've given you the example for the hospital, like you have got this many doctors, you have got you have to go to the department where you need to put up different types of um, uh, employees who are working in that department. So that's why the word is called proportional. So in the proportional sampling, equal and proportionate representation is given to the subgroups of the strata. If the number of items is large, then the strata can be further divided into higher size and vice versa. And in non-proportionate sampling, true representation is given to all the substrata regardless of their existence. So if the number is less, so you can represent almost everyone who is trying to um, uh, represent from the population regardless of their existence. So these are the different categories. And now, for example, take this example. Suppose there are 500 students, and we have got two sections, section A and section B. Section means section A, institution A has got 200 students, and institution B has got 300 students. And we want to take up these 500 students and we have to take these 50 students from the 500 students. So how will we do? Please don't talk because it is getting disturbed. So either you have to please switch off your or mute your mics, huh? If you want. So now see, so I've got so how much is the sample? Sample size is 500. Class 1 has got 200, class 2 has got 300. So how do we draw it? N divided by capital N multiplied by capital N1. So how much is the sample I have to draw? 50. How much is the population? 500. How much is the students in my class? 200. So 50 divided by 500 multiplied by 200 is equal to 20. Same way, I have to draw 30. So from the first class, I have to draw 20 students. From the second class, I will draw just 30 students. Okay. Is it clear? Any doubt? Till here, any doubt with anyone? Anything which is not clear?
It's clear, sir.
Okay, so let us now understand what are the merits and the limitations of the stratified sampling. So stratified sampling, it is more representative, it creates more accuracy. It is easy to administer as the universe is subdivided. So you can divide the whole class into a certain components. And then when you have this type of sample, there is greater geographical concentration, because then you can divide the whole area into components, and from here you can divide the okay, so you can have greater geographical concentration with this, so that it will reduce the time, effort, and when the original population is badly skewed, again, this method can be used. And for non-homogeneous population, it may yield good. So now suppose if you have got non-homogeneous, you have got heterogeneous population. So there also it can be of immense use. Okay, so any doubt in this? Anything which is not clear? What are the limitations and the benefits? So, what are the limitations to divide the population into homogeneous strata? It requires. So now, suppose if I want to draw more representative from the population, say, so I need to have more money. I have to segregate them. I have to get more people. So it has time, effort, money, statistical measure. Everything is a difficult one. So improper. However, there's also one flaw, that if there's an improper stratification, then it can lead to bias. That means I can do an often sell. So if I am taking an improper stratification, so I am not, it is not a true copy of my population which I am going to represent. So that is an important aspect. Then, so we have understood what is a random sampling, what is a stratified sampling. Then we come to the third part, which is known as the stratified sampling. So this method again is being very commonly used for its ease. And whenever you have a complete list, you can use the systematic sampling, which is also known as quasi random sampling. Okay, this method is also. So again, we will start randomly with this. The first part is selected, and then based on this every nth part we are going to select in our I am doing a stratification. That means I am a systematic, so every systematic, every fifth person, every 10th person I am taking in the from that group. Now this is particularly known as systematic sampling. So usually it is done that you allocate a number to every fifth person, 10th person, 21st person, and accordingly you can get the easy representation from that population. So what is the formula, like how do we take it? So K is called the sampling interval, like how much is the gap you want to take. Now, for example, we wanted to take 550 students for 500 students from a group of 500. So how do we do it? So 500 is the total population divided by the number, that is 50 divided by 100 is equal to 10. So every 10th person. So we take up like every fifth to 10, every have 5 to 15 person, every 15 to 20th person. So we can represent like this, or at 0 to 15, 0 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 25. So like this we can do an interval of 10. So this is how we calculate the sampling interval. So that's why if the sampling interval is 10, so you can choose every fifth number, that is 5, 10, 15, 20. And if you have got an indirect number, so you can, depending on whether it's odd or even. If it is an even number, you can choose 6, 16, 26. If it is an odd number, you can check 9th, 19th, 29th, 49th. So like this, it has to be done. Yes, any doubt till now? Anything which is not clear?
Clear, sir?
All clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then what are the merits and limitations of systematic sampling? This is an easiest method. It is quite simple. The time and work is much reduced. And here basically, if we take proper care, then accurate results can be sought, and it can be also used for infinite population. And however, systematic sampling alone is not representative of the whole population, and there can be a very strong chance of bias in the environment. Okay, because if I've got bias, then definitely my, our sample collection method is going to suffer. So therefore, we have to be very sure that which type of method we are doing, what is the sample size, how we are going to start sampling. So these things become a very, very important part. Okay, so with this, we have finished with our lecture number 1. So lecture number 2 depends on the continuation of sampling methods, so that you get what is quasi sampling, what is all the other different forms of sampling.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in the previous slide,
Hmm.
how can we select the start sample?
In this one,
Yes, sir. Sir,
see,
here we have selected IS5.
hmm.
So, how can we identify?
Randomly we have done. See, in random sampling, you can choose any second, any first. This is what I told you. So any fifth, any first, any 10th. So you can choose any of them. Like suppose the only difference is of the interval, because in the interval it came 10, so you are choosing every 10th person. Now had the interval would have come 15th, you can choose every 15th person. For example, you choose 5, any 15th person. So first is 15, the second one is 30, the third one is the 45th. So you can choose any person like this. So because this is random, so randomly you have chosen fifth. That's it. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so randomly you have chosen. Only thing is your purpose will be solved. So in the next class, we are going to discuss regarding all of the different types of other sampling. Just a minute. Let me just see. This is one part. Just hold on. Just a minute. Just checking. Yeah, I've just shared with all of you lecture number 2. So, yeah, can you all see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we are. So, have you understood what is random sampling? So, like randomly, we are choosing a number. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear, sir.
Okay, and then we'll come to the next type of sampling, cluster sampling. So, in the next class, we'll start with cluster sampling. What are the basic terms? What do you mean by qualitative data? What do you mean by quantitative data? Okay, what are the example? What is nominal, ordinal, discrete? So we'll do all these things. So please read about it, and so that when we are discussing, you will be able to understand in much more details. Okay. Yeah, any other doubts? Anything which is not clear?
Up to here, it is clear.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I've shared lecture number 2. Please go through this, and in the next class we'll discuss regarding the same. Okay. Yeah. Have you started with other classes as well? Yes.
Sir, we have started other classes like human biology, but we have only this class today.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay. So we will finish up all of these things. So we will be in our classes, we will be talking about different research methods. We will be covering biostatistics in terms of sampling, different types of sampling. We will be talking about measures of central tendency, mean, median, mode, measures of dispersion, standard deviation. Then we will be talking about the inferential statistics. Okay, we will be talking about correlation, regression. So these all topics which I'm going to take. Okay. So, because it is very important from a public health point of view, because you will be dealing with population, you have to collect the samples, you have to draw the best of the sample from your departments, okay, and how it is going to use these methodology for public policy. How do you get to your data? How you are going to measure your outcome variables? So these things you will be covering in this subject. So that's why you'll all pay attention, and wherever is the difficulty, just let me know. Okay? All
Okay, sir.
clear? Okay. So we'll call it a day today, and we'll meet next week, okay, with lecture number 2. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Take